Hey everybody, welcome to NFT Wow. Today, we're gonna go over the top 5 NFT projects you should know to start 2022. I'll go over why you need to know them and show you what is an alternative strategy to profit from NFT projects if you missed out on the initial drop, using these successful NFT projects as examples. The popularity of NFTs is one of the biggest breakthroughs in the blockchain space in 2021. In the first NFT auction by famed auction house Christie in February, digital artist Beeple's work started at a bid of $100 and sold at a whopping $69 million, and there was no looking back. By the end of 2021, NFT has generated over $25 billion in sales with no sign of slowing down. Starting from a pop art culture, NFTs have since been embraced by corporates and brands, laying the groundwork for brands to play in the coming metaverse. Whether you're looking at investing or just understanding NFTs, navigating through the NFT world can be confusing and overwhelming, as there are literally dozens of collections and thousands of mints every day. To get you started, these are 5 NFT collections with profound significance that have made some of the biggest gains in 2021. Number 5. The Sandbox. The Sandbox is a metaverse NFT project that have gained widespread attention for its NFT virtual land sales, with some plots going for millions of dollars. Unlike metaverse by big tech companies, it is a decentralized virtual world that no single entity has monolithic control over it. The Sandbox is a play-to-earn game in a 3D user-built world where everything you see is built by and for the community. In this virtual world, players can own land, create games, and digital assets. The virtual goods created can then be monetized as NFTs and sold for Sand tokens on the Sandbox marketplace. The platform has generated over $144 million in lifetime gross merchandise value. In November 2021, the Sandbox has raised $93 million in a Series B funding from investors led by the Japanese mobile giant SoftBank. The Sandbox has partnered with over 165 brands, including Atari, The Walking Dead, The Smurfs, Snoop Dogg, and many more, to create voxelized versions of the worlds and characters in the Sandbox. Now let's look at the chart of the Sandbox to understand the journey of its NFT value. This is not meant to be a video on trading or investment advice, so I'm using the monthly average transaction price and monthly volume for illustration purposes only. In January 2021, soon after the project first launched, the average price of Sandbox NFTs was $192, and 2 months later, the average price shot up tremendously to $6,969. You might have thought, damn, I missed out on the 3,500% profit. But if you look at the volume, in January there were 4 sales and in March only 1. There is no liquidity at all. Even if you were to sell at $6,000, there was no one else to buy from you. What's worse is, if you were driven by FOMO and bought in February, you were trapped with an expensive investment with no transaction for the next 3 months. Imagine the emotional suffering you would have put yourself through. To know when is a good time to buy, you need to understand what drives prices. Before I dive deeper into that, let's look at what happens in July and August. The average price was $1,474 in July and $1,786 in August. Prices went up by about 22%, a decent gain. But if you look at the volume, there were 443 transactions in July and 1,885 transactions in August. The volume surged by more than 4 times. That was the first sign that the project had buyer demand, and that was the beginning of the price move. From the price in August, it has gone on to make a 350% gain by December. So the answer to what drives prices? Yes, you guessed it. It's supply and demand. Whether you're a trader or investor, to produce a consistent return, you cannot just speculate on the project's future. You need to have a system and rules and execute on the rules. Now let's see if we find the same traits in the next example. Number 4. Art blocks. What is art blocks and why are these NFTs suddenly selling for millions? Art blocks has made waves among NFT collectors community, with a slew of single NFT sales over $1 million each. Art blocks is a digital storefront that specializes in an art genre called generative art. If you haven't heard of generative art, in layman terms, they are artwork generated by computer program, and these programs are stored on blockchain. On art blocks, rather than buying a finished artwork in front of you when you decide to purchase or mint, neither you or the artist knows what the piece looks like. The artwork is randomly generated on demand based on specific attributes, so you get different design, color, background, but keeping the same overall theme of a collection. The number of mints are often limited, and the artist can decide maximum number of mints. The most beloved collections include artist Dmitry Cherniak's Ringers. The Ringers series is comprised of 1,000 generative art NFTs made up of automatically generated strings and pegs. Just as significant is the Fadezas, a signature collection of Tyler Hobbs, a computer scientist turned generative artist. The collection uses flow field algorithm that produces unpredictable organic curves that have nice aesthetic property of being non-overlapping. A total of 999 works were dropped, selling out in 25 minutes for about $400 each. In August 2021, this piece Tulip sold for $3.3 million US, a new record for the collection, and is one of the 16 single Fidenza pieces that have now sold for $1 million US or more. Only 6 months after launch, Artblocks has already made it into mainstream collector's market, having won mint from the first 19 curated projects auctioned by auction house Sotheby's. By the end of the year, the entire Artblock collection is already valued over $1 billion. I will trace back to December 2020 when the project first launched. By January 2021, the price has already shot up 5 times, but more importantly, so did the volume. This project took a little longer to take off since this initial sign of demand, but boy did it take off big time. Average sale price peaked in September from the sales of the high-value pieces mentioned earlier, and certainly the prices vary between the various collections, so I'm generalizing for the purpose of this video. But once again, since the first sign of demand in this project in January to December of 2021, the average price has gone up 606%. We've talked about prices are driven by supply and demand, but so far, I've only been illustrating the demand, which is only half the equation. If you would like me to do a video specifically on this topic and explain supply and demand in more details and share with you a trading strategy that can generate consistent return, leave me a comment in the comment section below. Number 3. Axie Infinity. Widely considered the most relevant blockchain-based game out there, Axie Infinity is a trendsetter in integrating NFT with gameplay. It makes use of NFT creatures called Axies in a turn-based battle, combining it with a play-to-earn model where players can earn a meaningful income by playing. Approaching 3 million daily active users, dedicated players are now earning hundreds of dollars a month, some even thousands at one point. And that has attracted hundreds of thousands from underdeveloped countries in search for an income stream. The success of Axie Infinity has resulted in a myriad of similar games spawning in many other blockchain networks. However, not everyone is convinced of the game's long-term bona fides. Many criticize the game as a Ponzi scheme, as new players pay cash up front in hope of making profit themselves, and skeptical if the number of new players drops, so will the demand for their coins and the whole game economy, but only time will tell. Now, even though you may not be a gamer, Axie Infinity is an NFT project you should know. Axie became the first game to surpass the $1 billion mark in NFT sales. While the Axie's NFT may not have the biggest gain in 2021 for various reasons, I'm including this because there are aspects of this game that has generated huge gains in 2021. In the game, there are NFT creatures and NFT land. Let's start with NFT creatures, the Axies, which has much higher transaction volume and easy to identify. From February to March, their average sales price has barely changed, but the volume has tripled from 6,038 transactions to 18,744 transactions. For various reasons, the price of Axies have actually come down by December, resulting in a 43% decrease since March. But let's take March as the first confirmation of buyer demand in this project. Now let's switch over to NFT land in Axie Infinity, which actually has a limited supply. In March, when we identified the first confirmation of demand, the average sale price of land was $3,459. The most recent data I can gather was October, by which the average sale price was $27,256, a 680% increase. Of course, hindsight is always 20/20, and this is just an example to illustrate two important concepts. Firstly, you do not need to be the first person in an NFT drop to make profit trading NFT. Contrary to the common belief, participating in drops is not the best strategy for consistent profit with manageable risk. As for the second important concept, it can be better explained in the next example. Number 2. CryptoPunks. CryptoPunk is a profile collection of NFTs launched in mid-2017, one of the first NFT projects created on Ethereum, but its value has quickly risen only since January 2021. Among the top 10 most valuable NFTs in 2021, you will find 5 CryptoPunks in the list, ranging from $6.6 million to $11.7 million. Your biggest question might be, what is the use of such 24 by 24 pixel 2D art and why is it worth so much money? The short answer is that, as with real-world art, value is very much in the eye of the beholder. CryptoPunks in particular, owners often use them as avatars on social media to express themselves online, but some other could play a bigger role in the metaverse. Each punk is algorithmically generated, and the collection is limited to 10,000 punks. Each punk is made up of a character's face and has a unique mix of traits such as background and facial features that give it a sense of collectability. Some attributes are more rare than others. Human punks are the most common, while alien punks are the rarest. The rarer the avatar, the more the collector are willing to pay for it. Here you can see monthly sale volume of CryptoPunks surged 4 times in February 2021, a strong sign of market interest, while the price increased threefold to $37,034, a sizable increase, but it was just the beginning. From February to December, the average price further shot up more than 8 times. Now I would like to use this example to illustrate a second important concept. Many people, especially flippers, rely on fundamental analysis in identifying NFT projects with upside potential. Fundamental analysis such as the utility, the team, the aesthetics, the community, etc. While these are indicators of the potential of the project, fundamentals do not move prices. People do. Since CryptoPunk was launched in 2017, the fundamentals have not changed. Price only went up because there was greater demand for it and the supply was limited. A trading strategy that can produce consistent return does not rely on speculation that there will be a demand in the future that may or may not happen. A good strategy identifies the demand and reacts to it. Now let's look at the number 1 NFT project you should know. Number 1. Bored Ape Yacht Club. Perhaps the biggest story for NFTs in 2021 was the launch and rise of Bored Ape Yacht Club, another collection of 10,000 unique profile pictures. It was launched only in late April 2021, minted at a cost of $190. Apes has risen quickly to an average sale price of $260,000 by December, with market cap passing CryptoPunks at over $1.4 billion. Bored Ape is a premier example of a blue-chip NFT with high utility that is highly sought after. What makes Bored Ape collection valuable is highly subjective, but Bored Ape's success has come from 3 key factors: celebrity involvement, utilities for members, and community strength. Celebrity involvement includes the Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon using it as a profile picture on Twitter, where he has 50 million followers. They are also loved by athletes from the biggest professional sports leagues in the US like NBA, NFL, and NHL, featuring the apes as the centerpiece of the equipment design and profile pictures. The owners consist of many more renowned figures such as Mark Cuban, Gary Vaynerchuk, and the list goes on. The project has pushed boundaries with its utility. First, it created Bored Ape Kennel Club, another NFT project where ape owners can adopt a dog with traits that mimic the apes. In August came another freebie, digital vials of mutant serum. Owners could mix the Bored Ape with the serum to create another NFT, a mutant ape. Both Kennel Club and Mutant Ape NFTs sell for a lot, with floor prices of around $14,000 and $26,000 respectively. Last and most important is community that's built around a collection. Bored Ape has organized meetups in New York and California for its 5,900 holders, and there have been Bored Ape get-togethers in Hong Kong and the UK too. Most recently, a weekend of festivities for owners was held in New York, featuring an actual yacht party and a concert that featured appearances from Chris Rock, Aziz Ansari, and The Strokes. Despite its popularity, the project is still growing as a result of its roadmap activities and attention from big consumer brands. Bored Ape Yacht Club probably has one of the most amazing NFT journey of them all. It had 35 sales when it first launched in the evening of the last day of April. Even if you multiply that number by 60 times to extrapolate the sale of one whole month, the volume in May has still surged well over 4 times, with prices up by 565%. Once again, that was just the beginning. From the average price of $2,081 in May, it increased by another mind-blowing 12,356% by December. The 3 key success factors mentioned earlier have translated into market demand, but once again, to produce consistent return, you do not speculate there will be market demand. You look for evidence of market demand and you execute on it. Trading is a much deeper topic beyond this video. Buying and selling is just one element of trading, whereas the number 1 thing for any form of trading should be risk management. If you are interested to learn more, leave me a comment in the comment section below. That's all I have for today. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss more videos of NFT projects and much more. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.